The purpose of the Korea trip was to, first of all, I was excited to go. I went to my mailbox one morning and I saw a nice postcard from the Korea Society, and I just decided to enter my name, and I had to prepare several essays to in a curriculum, uh, not a unit, but a plan on how I would use Korea in my curriculum, which I'm doing now with the students. So we do a full 6 weeks on Korea. And so I was very excited to just go and bring back the information I've learned about the history and culture of Korea and the people. There are just so many things we did there. We visited many Buddhist temples, 5 days of classes on cinema, on education, on economy, on relations with North Korea. So there was just a host of topics that we covered while in Korea, and I just found it very engaging and exciting, and I learned a good deal about Korea in the process, the things I've never known in the past. I knew there were tensions there. There were tensions that summer when I went, but there were some funny things about being there. I thought that when we traveled out on the train, people are very reserved and quiet on trains. They don't speak. If you speak, you get shushed. It's just not acceptable to be loud there. So that's one thing I found pretty intriguing about the Korean people is this: they're very ordered and polite and respectful, and riding a train is very different in Korea than it is in the United States. I would rate going to Korea as a 10 because when I signed up, they told us, we would be treated like rock stars, and we were. I mean, 40 teachers went, and we each had our own hotel, and a lot of money was put out, for airfare and hotels and food and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So everything we did was just all out, bus rides down to Jeonju and all the temples, and just the Heinze Temple, the Tripitaka Koreana, which is all the Buddhist writings on wood blocks that are all locked up in this mountain. What was interesting about that too is there's a great story about that. In the Korean War, before the United States had gotten there, that Heinze mountain was, and the temple was supposed to be bombed by the North Koreans, but there was a South Korean soldier who was a pilot, and he was instructed to bomb that mountain, and so he refused to because he had been there as a boy, and he was court-martialed. And so that is interesting because later on he was seen as a hero, and that is now a UNESCO site. So it's well preserved and just a beautiful place to visit, which it's also part of the Silk Road. The purpose of the Wyoming trip was to visit the Indian tribes, the Shoshone tribe, and to learn about the history of the Native Americans. And it said that I heard that it was one of the more violent, tribes or places, due to certain social conditions. But we were there to learn about the history and assist in the food banks, and just to get to know the natives, which I really never knew any natives really before that, and they were just very nice people, I found out. And so that was a great trip because we got to sleep in a teepee and on the Wind River, and that was just a neat experience to wake up in the morning and to bathe in the Wind River and brush your teeth at night, and just we traveled through the mountains to see different parts of the landscape within the community. So that was a nice visit. My favorite trip was most probably Korea, because it was just a lot of money was put out. So obviously there are many more things to do beyond the classrooms and the temple visits, and the Buddhist vegetarian meals and Korean traditional dances. At night at around 7 o'clock, I'd find anybody to go to a baseball game, and that was exciting because they have cheerleaders, which is different than an American baseball game. It's more like a soccer crowd than it is a baseball crowd. So Korea definitely would be the most exciting trip that I took. Oddly enough, I think we all plan on going somewhere different as we get older, to get away from the snow. Maybe a part-time place somewhere someday. But I would love to do more travels in South America and maybe retire there one day. And I enjoy the Spanish language, the food, the culture, the dance. So it's just, an exciting place to be. Anywhere in South America, Central America. It's just a fun place to be and learn about people and culture once again. I would like to sum up all the places in sort of a Mr. Catano response. In Wyoming, you have the Buffalo Burger, and in Korea, you have kimchi. For the Korea trip and the Wyoming trip, I did create a website, mrsmithboston.tumblr.com, and it was mainly to take pictures of the trip for the students to enjoy and for people to enjoy. So, if I take other trips, maybe to Peru or other places, I'll add pictures on for each trip with the students, or even my own trips that I take.